Hello, everyone. So, it, uh, forgive the fact that this video was pushed back twice, and also forgive the fact that I'm still, minus my Zion hat that I wear every video, in full uniform from the baseball game I just played in. And in case you're wondering, we lost, but I'm not too worried about it, considering the fact that the umpire is probably a whole lot richer after that game, for obvious reasons. And today was really the perfect day for that to happen, because in today's video, I will be talking about some more blatant corruption, bricks and minifigs. So, for anyone who's not involved in the LEGO space, if you are involved in the LEGO space, I'm sure you know what bricks and minifigs is. I've even bought from them. It's a store. There's one in my local area right next to my dentist's office that I've been to before. It's just a store that you can go to buy and sell Legos. And they have a lot of stuff that's retired. It's just a good place to get Legos that you wouldn't be able to get on store shelves anymore. Turns out this is a blatantly corrupt company. And if you want any more detailed information on this company, like a more detailed thing on this whole situation, go to Moist Critical. He has over an hour worth of videos on this whole situation. But the short version, from what I can understand, is there was this guy whose life's work, he's really old, his life's work has been comprising this really big Lego Star Wars collection. Respect, I also have a huge Lego Star Wars collection. His life's work was comprising this old guy, his life's work was comprising this big Lego Star Wars collection. And his son, in order to raise money for his father, because this guy who made this collection has some serious health issues, in order to raise money for this, they decided to sell this Lego Star Wars collection. So his son Brian takes the collection to Bricks and Minifigs, and he has them under a contract. And basically, the contract says that Bricks and Minifigs, they can sell those Lego sets, and as they sell them, they have to pay Brian some money for those Lego sets. From what I'm understanding, quite a bit of the money they make is supposed to go to Brian. According to this contract that they signed. And all the information on this situation comes from a YouTuber whose name I believe is, and I'll edit in the actual name of the YouTube channel, because I could be getting this wrong. I believe his name is Reckless Ben, is the YouTuber who all this information comes from, this whole situation. And so anyway, after Brian hands over all the Legos to Bricks and Minifigs, the owner of that store is basically she's moving to a different area, and she is replaced by a different guy. And, she's like, well, before I get replaced, I want to sell out the rest of this inventory, because it's basically all the Brian's father's collection is basically her whole inventory, because it was just so big. The new person that Bricks and Minifigs Corporate put in says, nope, I've got it. I've got everything from here. Just leave. And he's like, well, I want to sell out the whole rest of this inventory. And he's like, nope, get out. I've noticed myself more and more waving my hands like Donald Trump in my videos. Anyway. What in God's name was that? Did you guys hear that? out my window. What in God's name was that noise? Someone needs to put a muffler on their motorcycle. Anyway, oh, that's an airplane. Anyway, go away. Please. Can you guys even hear that? Where was I? So they got rid of her. And from my understanding, she'll be back. I don't know. I don't really. It's very confusing. So the new owner of the store that took over for the last lady, who Brian gave all the Legos to, decides we ain't gonna pay Brian nothing for these Legos. So they essentially stole these Legos. From my understanding of the situation, they stole these Legos. So obviously Brian is not happy. So he goes to the store to say, hey, what the heck? He gets, I believe this is where he gets trespassed, because at some point Brian does get trespassed. Because they say, hey, he said, hey, I have you under contract, and they're just like, what? No, you don't. I forget if they said no, you don't, or we don't care. So one of those two. But they didn't care. They did not care. That he had them under contract. They were not paying for those Legos. If it was the last thing they did, they were determined to not pay for those Legos. So Brian goes to a team of YouTubers to get this whole thing settled out. And Bricks and Minifigs did the same thing they did to Brian, and basically says, yeah, about that, you see, because they did the same thing to Brian, I believe. They say, if you try to sue us and get these if you just try to do anything whatsoever to get these Legos back, we will sue you into oblivion and take all of your frickin' money. So they're basically just they're done. They can't do anything. So he then goes, after this team of YouTubers gets shut down, and this has been months, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And the whole Reckless Ben thing was just now. He goes to Reckless Ben, and he's like, look, I need help. I need help. Someone needs to help me get my Legos back. Well, my dad's Legos back. And did I rip my pants at my baseball game? I think I did, because actually, okay, it's fine. Okay. I keep ripping the knees of my baseball pants, and I'm running out, so that would have been catastrophic. So he goes to Reckless Ben, and he's like, look, I need help. So Reckless Ben goes to the store with the contract, with everything, with all the proof. He goes to the store. And the lady, who I believe is the same lady who they initially gave the Legos to, basically says, as soon as she sees everything, she goes, you need to leave. And then immediately goes to, he's harassing me! He's harassing me! He's harassing me! And calls the police to get him trespassed. And the police show up, and they're automatically on Bricks and Minifig's side. They show up, and they're like, and usually when they're getting trespassed, they're just like, why are you here? Why were you getting trespassed? He just goes straight to, and Reckless Ben tries to explain the situation to him. And the police officer's just like, nope, get out, banned for life, bye, get out, see ya. So, yeah, that worked out nicely. Now Reckless Ben is also trespassed from this Bricks and Minifigs, where all of Brian's Legos still are, and they have not paid for them. Well, it's Brian's dad's Legos, but regardless, all of Brian's dad's Legos are still there. Bricks and Minifigs has not paid for any of Brian's dad's Legos up to this point. They've just straight up stolen them. And so they're still there. And Brian, I believe, and most definitely, I know this for a fact, Reckless Ben are both trespassed from this place. So they can't get them to like give the Legos back. They can't go to court because they don't have them. They don't have the money to go to court, especially against a big corporation like frickin' Bricks and Minifigs. So what do? They go to small court because that works. They can actually do that. So they go to small court, and Bricks and Minifigs, because they take Bricks and Minifigs to small court. Well, before they had done that, so I've skipped a major part. So before taking Bricks and Minifigs to small court comes later. So backtrack. So Reckless Ben comes up with this master plan to go to Bricks and Minifigs, and they're going to court with them. He creates this like actual company with the exact same logo as Bricks and Minifigs, except it has like this subline of "We steal Legos from old people," which Bricks and Minifigs does. They just did steal Legos from old people. He's got like a website and merch and everything. And Bricks and Minifigs knows what he's doing, so it doesn't work. So that fails. It fails miserably. So then we get to him taking Bricks and Minifigs to small court. And when they take Bricks and Minifigs to small court, Bricks and Minifigs doesn't show up. So by default, Brian and Reckless Ben win. So this should mean, according to the ruling, according to the contract, Bricks and Minifigs has to give Brian his Legos back because they had not paid for them. Either that or they have to pay for the Legos. So they go to Bricks and Minifigs, and they find to get the Legos back, or at least get paid for them, because they've won because they never showed up to court. So they should get everything back, right? Wrong, because they go to the store and it's closed. That particular location is closed down. There's still Bricks and Minifigs everywhere. Like, I'm pretty sure the one in my area, it's still open. But Bricks and Minifigs closed down that location overnight as soon as they lost in small court. And all of Brian's Legos are gone. Bricks and Minifigs has them, but not at that location. So Brian's dad's entire collection is like probably spread out across various locations at this point. There could be some of it in like my local Bricks and Minifigs. It could be anywhere. But we don't know. We don't know where Bricks and Minifigs has Brian's dad's collection. It's somewhere. It exists. We don't know where, but it's there. But they still got it. So they closed down the location, which led to them getting review bombed because they never said they were actually going to close down the location. For a while, it was still marked as open, and people went there expecting an open store, and there was no open store because they closed it, so they got review bombed, and that worked out horribly for them, obviously. And then Reckless Ben and Brian went to the store, and they put this big, giant, sign, flag, whatever you want to call it, above where the store used to be, explaining the situation and why everything was closed down. And apparently someone drove past it and took a picture and posted it on social media because the sign went viral. And that's why this is such a big deal now, and everyone knows the blatant corruption of Bricks and Minifigs. And it got so bad that they marked the store as officially closed, and they had to make a response in which they basically said there were two major things that I got from that response. The first thing was them saying, "Look at the facts! Look at the facts! Look at the facts!" when the facts blatantly show them being in the wrong. And the other thing that they said was they don't do contracts. Well, if you don't do contracts, then why on earth did you blatantly, we have the proof on video, sign a contract with Brian over the Legos? If you're not supposed to sign those contracts, why did you? Because we have proof that you did. So if you don't do that, why did you? You can't say you don't do contracts because clearly you do. We have, Brian has the contract. Just somebody get Brian's contact information somewhere. Ask Brian, he'll send it to you probably. He'll send you pictures of the contract if you ask him for it. I guarantee it. Because he has it. Either him or Reckless Ben, probably him. But you could ask Reckless Ben, he's seen it because he had it at one point. The contract exists. So if you don't sign contracts, why did you sign a contract? You can't say you don't sign contracts. It's clearly you do. You did. We saw it. Everyone knows. You can't hide it. It's another instance, and my channel didn't exist at this time. Well, I don't know if it did. It probably did, but I was either still making Nerf content or not making content at all at this time. If anyone remembers when Alex Preddy had his phone and they shot him and they said the phone was a gun, so ICE shot Alex Preddy and they said well, a phone was a gun, it's not a phone. They were basically saying, trust whatever the Republicans say, not your eyes. This is Bricks and Minifigs doing the same thing. The contract isn't there. Trust whatever we tell you, not your eyes. They're doing the same thing that ICE did with Alex Preddy. When they were saying, oh, it's not a phone. You can blatantly see it's a phone, but it's not. I promise it's a gun. You should trust what I say more than your eyes. This is Bricks and Minifigs doing the same thing. You should trust what we say more than your eyes. You saw right there was a contract, but we say there's not a contract, so you should believe that. That's what they're saying. And it's number one, you're not the government. You don't have to lie. And number two, if ICE could not convince us when they have the entire MAGA organization on their side, what makes you think that you can? You are a company that buys and sells Legos. Are you serious? You think you can convince us that there was no contract because you don't sign contracts? Well, technically, I don't think they ever technically said there was no contract, but they did definitely say they don't sign contracts. We saw you sign a contract. Everyone knows you can't hide it. I was really excited when they put Bricks and Minifigs in my area because finally I have a Lego store near me. I will never buy from that store again. Period. Never. I will never set foot in that store again. I promise you that. And I don't work for the government, so my promises actually mean something. I will never step inside that store again. If this is the last promise I make, I will keep it to the day that I die. I do not care. I do not care if they hold me at gunpoint and say, step into that bricks and minifigs. I will not be going in. I'm gonna be honest, I value my life more than what I said to... Well, actually, I'm really depressed right now. I don't value my life at all, but you know what I mean. I don't want to go out like that. I'm sorry if they tell me I'm gonna shoot you if you don't go into that bricks and minifigs. Congratulations, that promise means nothing. So maybe I should work for the government because I just blatantly said that promise means nothing. I will never buy from that bricks and minifigs again. I promise you that. I have a feeling no one's ever gonna hold me at gunpoint and say buy from the bricks and minifigs, except bricks and minifigs, who will be out of business in a couple weeks, hopefully. Probably not, knowing how this justice system works. But, like, I don't think that even has anything to do with the justice system. It really doesn't. But no one's going to buy from them after this. No one's going to buy from them after this. Well, everyone's going to say no one's going to buy from them after this, and people are going to go back to buying from them. Like, it just goes in this endless cycle where we all realize they're a big corporation, so 10 years from now, everyone's going to sweep this under the rug and be like, that never happened. Like, what? The honey scandal was like, what? Like, a year ago? Like, 9 months ago? It's gotta be almost a year ago since the honey scandal. Maybe even might be a year ago. I feel old. Because the honey scandal feels like it was yesterday. How long ago was the honey scandal? But, like, no one talks about that anymore. It couldn't have been that long ago, but no one talks about it no more. No one talks about that. So, people are just going to stop talking about this, man. People are just not going to care. And, yeah, no one's going to care in, like, a couple months. No one's going to give a crap. But that's all I really got to say. This is a longer one because a lot of stuff happened. And I have a feeling there's even more that's happened that I haven't seen. So, yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.